Okay, hey, what's up, guys? This is Coach Thumper coming in with another VOD review. So we're going to be reviewing a Soldier gameplay at Soldier in 2020. This is a low Masters DPS player, NitroAndTux. On the if you're familiar with the stream, this is Hudson. He has like 8 accounts. They're all in like low Masters, so he's not smurfing. He's just on a different account. And we're gonna just review this a little bit. Soldier's an interesting pick in current times, just because a power creep got nerfed, both heals and damage. AoE heals and damage got nerfed recently, fairly recently. And so whenever the burst damage stuff and the power creep gets nerfed like that, Soldier kind of sneaks his way back into like being not meta but relevant to some degree. So we're gonna take a look at
one.
at what
Round
this looks
one.
like.
Capture the objective.
I like the skin to start. I like the skin because of the gun. Soldier skins are really about the gun for me.
Feel better soon. Watch from afar.
The objective is now.
Everyone heal up.
Okay, so I like what you're doing for the most part. So for the most part, your idea as a play, why? Okay, for the most part, your idea as a player is that you are wanting to. Let me bring up Epic Pen real quick. I thought I had it open. You're wanting to focus down the Reinhardt shield right here to kind of open up opportunities for your Widowmaker, but also to put so much pressure on Reinhardt that he has no ability to really move forward or do any pressure of his own. And then the added cleave damage from your Winston, and then just the pressure from a diva is making this quite difficult for the enemy Reinhardt. I like what you're doing overall. The only thing that I think, the only two things I think I'll caution you about fairly heavily is one, you didn't need the healing pack. You kind of just did that because you were like, well, I haven't used this cooldown yet in this fight, and they're already down the Reinhardt, and when am I going to use it, right? Like, use a cooldown when you need to use a cooldown, especially one as long as healing as the Soldier's healing pack is. It's quite lengthy. The other thing I'd be very conscious of is Soldier has this weird play style. It's not weird, it's just unique. He has this unique play style where he's like, okay, he can be a flanker. He absolutely can flank. Okay, he can flank. That's good. He can off angle. He can do that. He can counter flank, which is kind of what you're doing right now. Or he can frontline pressure. I don't know, line pressure. Okay. He can do all of these. And I'm sure you're saying right now, well, coach, if he can do all of those, why is he never meta? Well, it's because he's like, if you were like to grade him, he'd be like, okay, he's like 6 out of 10 as a flanker. He's like 8 out of 10 as an off angler. He's like 7 out of 10 as a counter flanker. And he's like 6 out of 10 as a frontline pressure. Like, he's not great at anything. He's just not bad at anything. So you take Tracer, for example, for the same thing. She's like a 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, and like 3 out of 10 counter, and like 3 out of 10 frontline. Okay, she's this, though, and she does this extremely well. So if you do this, then you do it extremely well, and that's what you optimize, right? If you take, like, Reaper, for example, he's like, okay, like 9 out of 10 flanker. He's pretty shit on off angles. Well, like, distance off angle, you know what I mean? Counter flank, okay, like 6 out of 10 maybe. And then frontline pressure, he's like, like 9 out of 10 again. So you have the option of, like, you can go in the teleport in the back and, like, flank, or you could just sit on your front line. You have the option. These are things you can do. Soldier just isn't great at anything. So because he's not great at anything, you kind of have to do more than one thing at a time. Okay. So right now you're really just frontline pressuring this. Okay. And what I would highly encourage you to do here is keep your frontline pressure, but keep an eye on the Tracer Sombra over here. So like frontline pressure, frontline pressure, frontline pressure. But the moment you see a Tracer Sombra like in this bubble, go ahead and whip your heavy pulse rifle on over there and force a recall, force a translocator, force, you know, them not being in that area, right? So like you're counter flanking and you're frontline pressuring, right? Or if you would like, go ahead and rotate around, not in point, but like on the high ground over there. Go ahead and rotate around after this like Reinhardt's down and like start like flanking / off angling, depending on where the enemy is. / off angling after you've kind of done what you can on the front angle with the pressure, right? So you, as a soldier, you almost have to do 2 things at once. See, yeah, now you can counter flank. Okay. So yeah, you're kind of doing it. I just would rather the Tracer never have gotten back there in the first place, you know? Okay, burst. Okay, 4 round burst for soldier at range, especially if like it's not something.
Heal up here.
Okay, you were trying to kill your widow. Fair enough. So 4 round bursts for soldier at range, just to help with your thing.
Damn it.
We are using.
Get stabilized.
Okay, we're using the healing cooldown a little bit too frequently. Like we're using it for like 20 health. But the helix we're using actually really frequently, which is good because that's the other thing. You ran into it, not away from it. Make sure you understand where it is before you start just like running around. It actually wouldn't hit you because you were standing here and it was around the corner. But just be aware of that. Like you're healing, you have a tendency just to kind of waste that cooldown. Your helix is pretty good. Your helix, you're getting it out every 8 seconds or so, and it's a 6-second cooldown, which means you're getting pretty consistent value out of it. And it's like, even if you don't hit it, the threat of it's there, and you're pretty often at least getting damage out of it. So you get your visor pretty quick. You do have a tendency to just hold the left click down instead of like here. Like that should have been all headshots. Like mechanically, this is not good. Both mechanically tracking wise, but also just like hold on right here. But also just like where you're aiming. Like look at your crosshair. Like we're on the left, we're on the right, but you're trying to aim center mass the entire time. We don't get a single headshot and all that. I think we hit 5 bullets in like 20.
No one can
and then we don't hit any headshots. That really should be a beam. Like that should be like, oh, this Zarya's not playing well. Let me beam real quick. Where like you should hit like 4 or 5 headshots and probably 7, 8 body shots after that. Overall, and the Zarya should be very close to dead, if not dead there. So that's a mechanical issue that you could work on in Kovacs, which I know I've already given you. As far as tracking is concerned, but it's also just like make sure you don't just spray. You got to burst a soldier. Like the spread is a real thing, and you've got to be cognizant of that.
I've got you in my sights. I got you.
You got really wise. You got insane.
Get over here.
Blind fire, like blind visor, with no idea where anyone was. You completely blind fired. And there happened to be an Ana that was like just not knowing, not enough pieces to really know.
Securing.
So you are spamming tanks a little bit too much. Like you do need to go after the soldier stuff.
My ultimate is ready.
Like you can go after the squishy, healers, tracers, healers and tracers. It's gonna be a lot more useful to you. So that's a target priority issue. So target focus is actually like staying on one target and focusing the target as target priority is like if your target's the priority for us to kill in that right? Target priority. I bit my tongue last night and like I could like barely talk normally. Like at first just talk.
Need healing. I'm taking the objective. Get over here.
You're fighting.
I've got you. I
low health, not really knowing where anyone is. So I talk about this with Genjis a lot of the time. Is like Genjis, for example, I'll just say like say the entire team fights like here. Like say the team fight hasn't broken out and the enemy has the point, right? And you're a Genji. I talk about blind blades a lot, or blind engages with a blade. I call them blind blades, but blind engages with a blade. I talk about these a lot, where you just go, I don't know where anyone is. We have no scouting. We have no calls. Whatever. Blah. Okay. And he just goes from down camera. He just goes from down there, dashes over this thing, pulls the blade, and in the split second, he has like this view. He's like, that target, and he just goes right. Okay, so that's a blind blade because you have no idea. First of all, you have no idea where your support is. Or if it's a support, you have no idea where any of the support is. You don't know where the tanks are. You don't know where the stuns are. You don't know where CC is. You don't know, where your next kill after that is. You don't, it's completely blind. And like, for all you know, you could literally come over this barrier and go, I'm gonna blade. Oh, they're not there. And you could like literally see nobody, and then you'd just be sitting there going, okay, there. And you waste like 2 of the 7 seconds of your blade. You're doing the exact same thing with Visor. Twice now, you've been in this position, right? And you literally haven't seen anybody. Like, the Zen's behind there, but he's behind cover. There's no way you get to him. So, like, you don't know where anyone is. You just go, Visor. And then you just pop out and hope people are on point. And there are people on point that you can kill easily with Visor, in which case there's not. That's just a ball. Okay? And then a Tracer, but I'm pretty sure that Tracer has recall. She does not have recall, actually. Wait, what? Oh, okay. That looked weird. She does not have recall, actually, but you never know. And those blind, those blind ultimates are just never a good look.
Knock me. Hey.
It's one thing if you have scouting or your team has scouting, so you really do know where they are. Bacon's picked up 3. But like, it's another thing entirely when you don't have any idea where anyone is, and you just go, Q. Right, like that's not a good look. We should have a little bit more planning.
Damn it!
Again with the healing pack, like it's completely unnecessary. Like the fight's gonna start now without a healing pack.
Pass into the iris. Everyone heal up.
And again, like the healing pack, like. Very, very not good with that healing pack. That's not your strength as far. Nice spawn, there we go.
No rest for the weary.
Also, you have a tendency to stay on main angle. So in the beginning of this, I talked about like you kind of have to do multiple things as a soldier to really function to any like good high degree. You're staying on the main angles really consistently, and the only off angle you're taking is that one off angle where you visor twice on the far left, where they have all that natural cover. I would much prefer to play on the right side a little bit more, and also go for that was an accident, and also go for like the squishy a little more because you are kind of spamming the tanks down. So that round notes wise, like stop spamming the tanks. Target priority, kill something along with, whatever else. I'm gonna assume this is out of spawn. And then on your visor, don't blind fire. Don't blind visor. Like just don't do that. Like so, position yourself in a way where you have the ability to kind of do more than one thing if you choose to. Make sure you're focusing and actually trying to get kills and squishies, not just charge your ultimate off tanks. And then the third thing is once you have your ultimate, actually do it in a position that is advantageous. Don't do it where like you're like, oh, I visored, where is everybody, right? I'm assuming this is out of spawn, but it might.
Namaste.
I've seen this place before.
Round 2.
Looks
Capture
like
the objective.
Group up here. Group up with me. Group up.
I'll go with you.
My power grows.
this is a dangerous teleport. I think this might be the most dangerous one in the
Teleporter
game, 'cause
online.
it is literally on the edge of a map that Lucio loves.
Raksha Pranali Samridit Karna.
Okay, set up on point.
The objective is now.
It's actually fairly good awareness to set up on point and realize, oh, my team's not with me, and back off the point, like, get in space. It's actually pretty good awareness to do that.
Basta de caer.
That's unfortunate. So Symmetra actually has a pretty similar conundrum here that Soldier does. The fact that she kind of has to do one thing. She kind of has to almost play like Taken, where she can set up turrets and set up her teleport in such a way where it gives her team an area of control. It's not nearly as effective as any of the tanks, but she can do that. And at the same time, she's got to like try to get tier 3 beam if they get close, and at the same time she has to get damage from range. I think that was just a function of your team was trying to do one thing and you were trying to do another, and you were being stubborn. You were being stubborn because like the other 5 players in your team all did the same thing. They went left, let the enemy have point control, and try to get picked off a bit, and then you just kind of went to point. Tracking issue. We're having some mechanical issues. Good pressure on the round shield, but again, it was good kills on the end as well.
Rocket barrage.
Like there's a McCree free firing on your there's a McCree free firing on your Mercy, and you're firing at a charging Reinhardt. I have to pick up that ball. Like you're just not really shooting the same thing as your team either.
Fields down. Got you in my sights.
That's unnecessary.
Healing boost.
Are we going back to high ground? Yeah, looks like it. God, get the hiccups. I get hiccups like this here before you watch a YouTube video. Oh yeah, you missed it. That was the first one. I remember. So we are having a little bit of traction issue.
Apagando las luces.
It's gonna make you feel better.
Like why did we put the health back down, man? Right? Like you were full health, right? And there was a high noon. It's not like he's gonna hit you through the wall with high noon, and even if he does, like that's an instant kill. It's not like you're gonna be able to heal through it.
The war goes on.
Pump up the volume.
You're just not commonly in the fight. So like, so yes, Soldier is not a brawl hero. He's, if the fight is in this area, if he's in the box, he's probably dead. Yeah, yes, okay, that's fair. That's completely fair. But like, you're firing at stuff out here while it's like a 4v4 over here or something. Good lord, my apologies. I don't know, I breathed in as I coughed or something. That was weird. So, at least you could fire into here and focus targets with the team. So team-based focus, really big issue here. Oh my goodness. Team-based focus, really big issue here. Tracking is a pretty big issue here. Positioning, you're fairly static. It's not a bad position. Don't get me wrong. It's actually a very, very strong position. Same thing on the last map. But you're always there, and if you're not getting value out of it at a certain point in time, you're gonna have to switch. And the last thing is you haven't had a good visor yet. You haven't had a good visor yet. You bind visor twice, and then you visor when one person is alive. Okay, that believe it or not, that visor was actually your best one so far as like the potential to get value. But I mean, if Anna hits a 30-meter sleep, then Anna hits a 30-meter sleep. I mean, there's not much. There's not a whole heck of a lot.
Apagando las luces.
Oh, let's break it. Yeah! I'll take more where that came from. Check this out.
Very well.
Lit.
Activating self-destruct sequence.
Oh, this is my jam. Audio medic.
Time to heal up.
Triple kill.
You stole it. Oh my goodness. You absolutely stole it. That ball had everyone in the hole. I don't think I've ever seen like even a single environmental kill stolen with a helix. Let alone like what was that? 3? I think you actually killed one and then two went in the hole.
Team, heal up here.
They were just standing on the main angle.
Celebrate.
Come here and get stabilized.
Again. Why help? I just don't understand the sense of this.
I love the smell of pulsation.
You could use it now, right? Like you just got it back at the end of that little thing. You could have used it. Like you could have seen the ball coming, put the health back down, and you would have been fine.
The war goes on.
My
Okay,
ultimate
honestly,
is
I
ready.
kind of feel like that's enough. So, one is heal. I think it's called heal station. I don't know. Heal pack usage is. I mean, it's a huge question mark for you right now. Like, you just randomly throw that thing down. Like, you at least do it when someone's looking at you, right? Or when someone's about to like dive. I mean, something, right? That's a huge thing. Blind alts, you blind alt constantly. Don't do it. Do not blind alt. 3 is target focus. So like, be aware of what your team's focusing or what's bothering your team the most, and try to fix it. Like, try to go after that. Like, try to go with their target focus, not just like whatever you want is the end all be all and screw them, right? So like, you got to try to be better than that. I mean, it's not really a 4, but like 3 with like an asterisk is when you are target focusing and shooting at them. Tracking. Our tracking was pretty weak in this video. I don't know if it's normally that weak. I don't think it is, but I don't know if it's normally that weak, but it was pretty weak. I think there was at least 2 or 3 kills that were kills, but you didn't track appropriately, so they weren't kills. So take a look at your tracking. You know, take a look at your mechanics, and don't let those slip just because like you might be working on like one of these, for example, right? Positioning and game sense make it so your mechanics function, right? Positioning puts you into literally into a position to do well with whatever mechanics you have, and game sense makes it so you're you're using those mechanics to put pressure and kill the appropriate targets. Good lord, I've never had hiccups. So like, just be aware of that. So don't that you use game sense positioning to really make your mechanics flourish. And so don't let your mechanics go bad just because you're focusing on other things. You still got to track, right? All right, man. I hope that was useful. For everybody else, I hope you enjoyed that. I will talk to you guys later.